Gentlemen, lovely ladies, welcome to the show. I have to start by saying that the talent in this room is just staggering. It really is.
Where?
Yes, it's staggering. You know, the last 2 years, it feels like OTT platforms and digital content has really upended the entertainment business. It feels like viewers, anyone with taste, is looking at Netflix and Amazon and all of the other platforms for satisfying content, which film and television is not always delivering. We've seen some great writing on shows like The Family Man, on shows like Sacred Games, Made in Heaven, Delhi Crime. These shows have also given us incredible actors who either have been away for too long or actors who've been discovered through these shows. But it feels like we're on to something really exciting. Also, every single one of you has been so terrific in the shows that you've been on. Overall, there's a feeling that the bar has been raised. It feels like you're watching stories that television just wouldn't allow you to tell, or that don't fit into the format of the 2.5-hour feature film. I don't think we've got to the point of American television just yet. I mean, I don't think the writing is as strong as, say, what you see in Succession or Fleabag, but we're on to a good thing. I want to start by asking each of you, tell me about a time on the set when you were shooting a specific scene or a moment where you sort of stepped back and said, wow, they would never allow us to do something like this in TV or in film. Or a moment where you felt really like you were creating something special.
Don't look at me.
Who's going to go
Someone
first?
else start.
Shobhita. Come on, Shobhita.
You can do it, Shobhita.
I think I felt that when I read the script. I was very surprised that the protagonists were actually not black or white. And it's like, if they did something bad, it didn't necessarily have to be justified कि उनके साथ ये हुआ, which is why they are doing this. So I think I liked that. It's liberating for me because I want to watch stuff where it's relatable. And a little darkness is actually delicious.
Yeah, it's lovely that you say that because you actually played a woman in Made in Heaven who through very crafty means marries a very rich industrialist, and the show never judges her, which is beautiful.
And she's unapologetic about it. It's not like some childhood trauma, which is why she's doing it's. So I like that because people are how they are because of how they are. They're prone to themselves. So I think I like that.
Actually, I would wonder what would be the childhood trauma of someone who wants to marry rich.
No, any kind of baggage. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was just telling Dada, Manoj here that I don't think anybody would in film or TV give me the role of a corporate hitman.
Right.
So I'm just happy. Thank you for just giving me parts that I'm excited to play. Yeah. So that itself I feel very surreal. Like यार ये तो film TV में नहीं होता यार. ये role नहीं मिलता मुझे. But I mean, like.
But not only with you, as I was telling him, that, you know, I've been getting calls from most of the casting directors because I keep conducting workshops, and they've been asking me about new talents coming up. You know, they want those lists from me. I mean, they are on a lookout for new actors, actors who are capable enough to deliver.
Right.
So this was never the case. I mean, you compare it with the time that we've come in. I mean, we could hardly get any. Free entry into any studio or on any stage. Yeah. From that time till this time, when the casting directors are now look out for a talent outside of their own list, I think this has happened, or this has become possible only because of the OTT platform, and their intention is very remarkable. That, you know, they want good actors because they are very serious about the content that they are producing.
I think I'd agree with Shobhita as well and with Ranveer because when you read the script, for me especially with Kafir, when I read Kafir, I thought to myself, wow, is this for real? Is this really happening?
Can we do this today? Yeah.
Are we really doing this today? Are we looking at a subject with such an unbiased lens? Are we actually not taking sides?
Right.
Are we actually willing to explore the most humane side to a subject that really is calling for a deeper sense of humanity? And I felt so privileged that this story had come to me. And every day on set was surreal because just the kind of vibration at work that was created every day felt so, so special. And after being in the films for 18 years, to have finally found something that made me feel so whole, so complete as an artist, and so fulfilled, that was, I think, a gift.
It's, you know, when not even read it, when I was narrated, DC not even narrated actually, it was just, he looked at it as 8 hours of film.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And everything was extremely organic and raw and honest. There was no gloss to it.
Yeah.
Not in the way it was shot, not in the script. There were no mincing words. There was no paraphernalia attached to it. It was just what needed to be told.
And there's no manipulation.
Yeah, it's just, you know, so I think that's fantastic.
Right.
And everything else just falls into that category.
Yeah.
That, oh my God, she's not the
Correct.
typical heroine
you follow
material.
That, then you follow that. That's the lead. That,
because it's just true to the content rather than to the box office or the popularity.
But I want to say, Manoj, in your show, you play a secret agent. You play a secret agent whose job it is to nab, interrogate, shoot terror suspects. But as the title suggests, he's also a family man. And because he's so sort of entrenched in his job, he's frequently an absentee father. He's frequently, an irresponsible husband. I read an interview of yours in which you said that a web series gives you more time to invest in the journey of a character. You said on certain days you surprise yourself. You start clapping and jumping with joy because कुछ सोच के shot देने गया था और कुछ अलग ही angle निकला. I want to ask all of you, is that something that you can all relate to?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
You mean like script wise के camera wise? मुझे लगा था camera वहाँ है लेकिन camera यहाँ निकला.
You expect that from Ranveer Shori. But no, what happens that, you know, when you're going there and you know the lines, you know what has happened before the scene and what is going to happen after the scene. You know about the graph, you know where exactly the scene is coming in. You are prepared, you go there and you start rehearsing. And suddenly, you know, there is that much of time which is given to you to explore. I mean, I'll tell you about an incident that has happened when we were shooting for Family Man. There's a sequence when I come inside my house where I'm completely sloshed.
Yeah.
You know, and in the daytime, I kind of spied on my wife's movement. Okay, and there is a suspicion going on in this guy's head that my wife is having some kind of a scene or she's attracted to some other guy. He doesn't want to confront her. He's sloshed. And when she confronts him about drinking, and it suddenly flares up. The plan was that we'll shoot over the shoulder, and we'll finish the day. That was the plan of the director. But suddenly we started, things started happening. We started thinking more and more, exploring more and more, and then we realized that, you know, it never happens like this between husband and wife. If they start fighting, and it can go anywhere, then they are chasing each other and fighting with each other. If they go from one room to another room, then, and if one person doesn't want to fight, suddenly the other person wants to fight, you know, so it goes up and down, up and down. And that sequence has turned out so beautifully. So that's
what you meant,
That's what I meant, you know.
Right.
And there are so many things that has happened on the set where you surprise yourself.
Right.
Okay, oh God, I mean, this I can do. Can I do this? You know, so you think of an idea and you can afford to do it on OTT platform. But on films, you know, suddenly director says, sir, ये कुछ ज़्यादा लंबा हो जाएगा, sir, ये edit हो जाएगा,
ये edit हो जाएगा.
You know, so here they give you that leverage, that they give you that space to explore and be that way.
Have you had those moments, the rest of you?
Well, I mean, to me, what I think more than anything this sounds like is a luxury of having the time on set to be able to explore and to be able to improvise and have the whole crew follow you through that. So this is not something which I have experienced yet, but I do agree with Manoj in the sense that the time that you get to be able to give flesh and blood to a character is very important to be able to realize that character. For example, in Sacred Games, the part they were giving me had a lot of presence in season 2, but actually, in fact, had only 4 scenes, I think, 4 or 5 scenes. So, I mean, how do you
make it impact,
four
right.
scenes? How do you have to try and give it flesh and blood? But when you have the luxury of being able to, for me, it's like it would be like a mix of theatre and being able to workshop and work at the same time. So definitely, it makes a huge difference to as far as being able to play a character is concerned.
I think the sense that I get is that basically it's a democratic work environment
Right.
that gives you the space and room to actually explore the dimension of the character that you're inhabiting and the space. And I think that what for me was the most wonderful experience being a part of a web series was not just the prep that went into it, because you have a certain idea of where you want to go with
the
it.
character, sure.
But when you're in the reality of that moment, suddenly it's taking you to places that you hadn't anticipated. And then you're surrounded by people in this very democratic space that allows you to go
Right.
where you want, and that's the special thing about it.
Right.
And film doesn't always give you that space, that time, or that room. We work with directors who are very stringent about even a pause,
Right.
and they don't want to give you, but that's their idea.
Sure.
I don't know whether it's a OTT versus film
Correct.
thing,
Or it's the people.
or it's
It's
the
just the-
people
right.
that you're working.
It's
I
also
think I would
genre.
say it's more the
Sometimes the mainstream doesn't allow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pauses after few seconds, they don't allow it.
Yeah.
I will tell you. When
There's
I was
no
when I
time
was
to
working
stop
with
and
Satyameva
say.
Jayate, suddenly after a few seconds he started shouting and screaming, "Sir, ye Aligarh nahi hai, sir. Sir, ye Aligarh nahi hai, Satyameva Jayate."
Yeah, I know what
So
you mean.
so it's. So when you are working, it's always about the format that you are working.
Right.
I mean, if I'm doing Bhosle or Aligarh, I can.
Correct, it
I can
allows-
always,
right,
they
right.
always allow you to do
And the
that.
people also.
I feel like when I did a show and I shoot for a show, in a conversation, there is space for silence, which is so important because
Yeah.
one doesn't, it's
Absolutely.
not always tap, it doesn't happen that way in real life.
Yeah.
So those silences, even someone just by themselves, even if there is a tiny scene which is absolutely unnecessary to the turn of events or the
Right.
plot, but it's just a day or a moment in the life of this person. For me, that tells more. Like when I see a character, if I take that character out of that story and put them on a Sunday afternoon, I want to know what they would be like.
Right.
I want to have a sense of who they are.
Right.
So to build that, I had the space in a digital show.
What is the emotional toll that some of these characters, some of these projects that you've worked on have taken on you? You, Shefali, played in Delhi Crime, the lead investigating officer in a case that was inspired by the Nirbhaya rape case. And there are scenes in that show which rattle the viewer, so I can only imagine what it must be like for the actor who's performing it. Dia, in Kafir, you play a Pakistani woman who's washed ashore on the Indian side. She's thrown into prison. She languishes in prison where she's raped. She has a child in prison. These are just two examples, but have there been, have some of these roles taken an emotional toll on you? Or maybe look at the world differently. I mean, you in Sacred Games played this Pakistani terrorist who's committed to this nuclear this nuclear blast that he wants to arrive. Emotional toll?
I've forgotten what you asked.
Have these characters taken an emotional toll on you? Or maybe look at the world differently.
There's no other way of approaching any character without completely being consumed. That's
Right.
the way I feel. Secondly, with particularly this one, until I heard this story, I didn't know that side
Right.
of the story.
Right.
I didn't know about the investigation at all. So when I got to know, it's very strange. And even though we were doing an extremely disturbing, we were talking about something that shook all of us. It was almost liberating and empowering to know that there was a woman who cracked it.
Right.
So strangely so, I felt like, okay, one is that, I don't know how many of y'all knew about this. I didn't.
No, I didn't.
So sitting outside, we were all asking the same questions. Why is no one doing anything about it? But there was somebody who was doing something about it. And to play that it might sound weird, but it was actually, it was a feeling of, we are doing something. And secondly, as far as the emotional, like I said, there's no other way of approaching or doing a character without being completely.
I don't think there's any work which you walk away from unchanged.
Completely.
Yeah.
Any job, I mean, especially in this
No,
field.
but there's
I mean,
some jobs that
which are what, like you. I'm talking about the
have a
material,
deeper
not the people making it.
impact on you.
You know, I'm talking about the material itself, what you're making. I don't think that I've ever worked on anything where it hasn't emotionally affected me, and...
Really?
Yeah.
Like every acting job?
Yeah, I mean the acting job, you have the character, then you have other characters, you have the story, you have the backdrops, you have the human interaction, you have the take on each character's human condition. So there's, I mean, if you're absorbed, like she said, if you're absorbed in the material, there is always something to which stays with you forever.
There's no other way. I mean, you always come out bruised. And at times
No, but I also feel you come out healed.
Huh?
I also feel you come out healed.
Yeah.
Because
it
when
depends.
she was talking...
Two sides of the coin.
Bruised by the character that you play. I mean to say, many people thought that Aligarh must have bruised me, but it kind of improved me as a person.
That's
Because
what I mean.
but it's the impact of the character, positive or negative, however you want to take it. But each and every character that you play with that much of, as she said it very rightly, with that much of sincerity and integrity, definitely you can't afford but to touch back.
And
I would totally agree with all of them. I feel like while you're so consumed and so invested in that experience, for me, Kafir was liberating in so many ways. Even though I played a woman who was disempowered, just her journey of empowerment was so liberating for me as a woman. And finding her strength in her fragility was so empowering for me as well. I mean, even something like, I shared this with you the last time we spoke. I love children. I've always wanted a child. But for the first time in my life, when I worked with this child and I formed that bond and connection, it changed me forever.
To be very honest, I don't feel shocked by sorrow or conflict. It feels more natural because in the guise of a character, I can outwardly be angry, I can be sad, I can be lost. But in my real life, those are emotions that I can't always show, even if I feel them. If I'm feeling vulnerable in a moment, I'm expected to come across as much more settled and sorted. So I think in the guise of a character, I can actually be those things. So for me, playing a character that's complex or conflicted is actually extremely liberating. I feel free.
When was the last time that you were completely wrong about the viewer's reaction to something that you put on screen? For better or worse. You thought that this will get this response, but it turned out that that's not how the
But
viewers...
Ajit, with every work, I think all of us can vouch for it. Because with every work, there are scenes where you think that, you were expecting some other kind of reaction and you suddenly get a different kind of reaction. People have a different take on it, There are certain pauses that you take and people, start responding to it very differently from what you actually intended to do.
Right.
So, I mean, that's part and parcel of it.
Why just a moment? I can tell you a whole film.
Please tell. Please tell.
Soan Chidiya.
Really?
Yeah. Soan Chidiya, yeah.
You're so good in that.
I mean, it's a great film.
Right.
It's a classic.
Film.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
I'll be
classic.
proud of
So
it.
you're saying that you expected it to
I don't know because
but I think it's just no one went, right? I mean, the problem is not being appreciated.
Yeah, the thing is, you're right. It's not like it's not appreciated. Everybody who's seen it likes it, but not many people have seen it.
Right.
And it's very strange. I don't know. So I mean, this is I agree with again Dada Manoj, which is that you can't. I mean, I think they've been trying for years. It's like trying to find the formula for turbulence in fluids. Nobody's going to ever crack this because there are so many moving factors, so many dynamics. there is apparently something now new which I discovered is the public ka mood. You know?
Right.
So I mean, now there is a collective mood also.
आजकल ये चल रहा है, आजकल
which
इनको
on
ये
that
अच्छा लग रहा
Friday
है.
they are not. Politics has been really depressing, so they want to watch something happy and cheery. So they are not going to go for your, you know, film even if it's good, but it's not cheery. So,
Right.
you know, there you go. You are on a wrong Friday. I mean, it's just simply like that. So I mean, I'm talking about box office.
yeah,
Of course,
yeah.
OTT again, like we're talking about. Like I was saying this to somebody the other day. It's such a blessing in every way. Apart from, you know, having a kind of a concrete distribution system for artists and technicians in this business world over. What is also amazing, I find, is that now for films, for example, earlier your film would get a window of a week, and if it doesn't crack it there, then it goes into some slot on TV which nobody knows about.
True.
When it'll come. So
Correct.
basically, it'll never find its audience.
Right.
But in OTT now, you can always reach out for that film.
Right.
So the film will always find its audience.
audience, yeah.
And the best part is, he gets his, she gets hers.
Right.
Everybody
Everyone gets what-
they
yeah,
want.
yeah, what they're
so I mean,
responding to,
it's really a blessing. So thank you, OTT, wherever you are. And the only thing I wish is that I wish we would come up with a better name. Because web series,
Digital
OTT,
series, okay.
Yeah.
you know,
We're all-
I mean, we need to
we all
find,
hear you, yeah.
we need
Somebody
to find
asked me the
something.
other day, what is the full form of OTT?
Correct.
Over the top. But why is it
it
called
right?
over the
Right.
top?
It's interesting, you know, in America, it's television. It's television, but
But
accessible
this is not
online.
television.
Yeah.
I think we
Right.
should just stick with that series. You're
Correct.
doing this,
Series,
you're
I
doing
like
this
series.
series.
Right.
Yeah, but they call it
Original
web series.
Original series.
They call it web series, OTT series.
Right.
Honestly, it doesn't make a difference. They can call it what they want.
नहीं यार
Did you
बच्चा अच्छा है तो कुछ भी बोल लो उसको.
नहीं, वो अच्छा बच्चा का नाम टपलू रख दोगे तो कैसे चलेगा ना.
पर वो अच्छा होगा या नहीं कब पता चलेगा बड़ा होके ना.
But did you have a hesitation about doing a series initially?
Not at all.
My first series I was in many करूँगा.
Are you serious?
Like
I mean,
Satya-
listen, the truth is, in this country, there is a hierarchy. Right?
Really?
I mean, there is a hierarchy.
There is a
This is
hierarchy,
not
yeah.
America, where traditionally television has had better, the best work is happening on television. That's not the way we view television in this country. I know that a lot of you have worked in television before, but that's not the way television is viewed. And even today, television is not, you know, it is the second-class citizen. So there was really no, I mean,
But
the
you know,
material
honestly,
drew you in.
it's a wrong comparison.
Sure.
Television and the series is a very wrong comparison.
That is true. It's not.
It's-
In fact, I mean, that's what I meant that I was holding out was not because of the hierarchy which you are saying. You know, not that I had any
Right.
equity in film which I didn't want
Correct,
to.
correct.
मैं television पर नहीं आऊँगा till it's KBC or something like that. But my thing was born out of because TV, like she said, had a history of not having scripts.
Right.
You sign on, उसके बाद पता नहीं सर 1 साल चलेगा 2 साल या 10 साल. इतने
तीसरे
तीन
एपिसोड में जिंदा में मर गए वो
वो
भी
भी
नहीं
नहीं
पता.
पता. So this is how it works.
Scripted as you go, right?
So for
right.
me, the big thing was, do you have the scripts for the full
Correct,
season?
correct.
At that time, the people would come to you with a pilot script and a whole season arc. I'm like, no, you give me 10, what do you want to shoot? 10 scripts. And the first ones who did it were Metro Park, were Abhi and Ajay,
Right.
and really good scripts. So I was like, chalo, this is, I mean, you know, this checks the slots. And I did it. And that's how, I mean, Metro Park happened. So.
Yeah, the only thing that I held out on was there were other offers which just didn't call out to me. They didn't connect with me. But this did. And I was like, I have to do this. So it was as simple as that. It was never about being in a series or none of that. In fact, I was so excited about the fact that this kind of writing was happening.
And for me, it's not the medium.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
Juice was a short film.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Correct.
absolutely.
You did that,
You know,
right.
It got appreciated a lot, but
Right.
it could have just gone off somewhere. So it's not whether it's a play or it's a television show or,
Or a
it's a
painting.
series or that's a sore topic. Let's keep that out. But so I mean, it requires as much of dedication, as much of consumption from your end as any other medium would. You know,
Yeah.
so I mean, I don't think the medium mattered.
Right.
The content, yes.
Yeah,
I mean, there was no way in hell I wouldn't do this.
Right, right, of
In
course.
fact, this is another thing which a lot of people actually talk about nowadays, which is that, you know, I mean, 20 years ago, who would have thought like we were there when the television boom happened.
Yeah.
You know, we are Purana Chawal.
Correct.
And we were there when yeah, I mean, she was also there. And so at that time, people used to think, yaar, abhi kaun dekhne wala hai 60 channel? But then later 600 channels happened and they are sustaining. The same way, who would have thought that 600 will become 600,000 or 6 million channels and still, you know, it will sustain. So, I mean, I see it as just one great big expansion of our business or craft or whatever you want to
But Manoj, where do you weigh in on this? Because, you know, you had you sort of created within film a very successful niche for yourself. You know, I mean, you're in the Satyamev Jayates of the world, and we look at that and you think that he deserves better. But you are also doing the Bhosles and you're doing the Gali Guliyan. So for you, did you initially see this as, am I going back? Am I taking a step back? I mean, was there any hesitation when Family Man came along?
Not at all. I mean, like she said it very rightly, that, you know, this is all medium. And if medium has its own way of giving you the freedom and the liberty, then you just go ahead and do it. I mean, I refuse to be part of satellite channels only because, you know, there was not much happening. And if at all something good was offered, you knew that, you know, that there's so much of interference from the corporates and the channels, and there's so much. I mean, I almost signed a series long back, and because of the series of interruption which was happening from the corporate or from the channel, that I backed out. I said, you know, this is not going to remain the same. The end product is going to be a twisted one, not something that you know, I said yes to. I was waiting for a Family Man kind of a script. Yeah, I was waiting for it. There were offers because such, you know, fantastic talents they were all agreeing to be part of it. Delhi Crime happened, you know, his series happened, and then Sobhita, you know, she's been part of such fantastic series. All of them have garnered so much of acclaim. Yeah, so the offers were coming my way, but I was looking for something which could, you know, breaking the clutter, you know, which had the, you know, potential of standing out if you really do things right. I think I saw that possibility in Family Man. Lucky for me that it, you know, everything fell in place.
Like what is happening, I think, is that series is, like, you can say, like a, you know, like the child of sensibility of film and the quantity, whatever, or the demands of television. So, like you said, of course, we haven't reached the level of excellence, say, that HBO and Netflix worldwide or other places are doing. But at least we've got that going here now.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, you're onto something. Yeah.
Quality now will depend on.
Fleabag to koi nahi banayega.
Correct.
Yeah, वो अभी बता रहे हैं. But it's so amazing.
I want to know it so badly.
Somebody pointed this out to me. Somebody pointed this out to me. He said, तुम बातें करते हो कि West की television writing. He said, उनका commissioning और जो realization to execute, to shoot, ratio is about, say, they invest in 100 projects, 10 get shot.
Yeah.
यहाँ पे they invest in 100 projects, 90 have to get shot.
Right.
So they are spending more resources on developing, on the writing and, you know, on pre-production.
But I feel like we're doing that more now. We definitely
We've started now. I mean, let's hope it goes well.
Yeah.
For each of you at this stage, what are the easy no's? What are the things that you just won't do?
It's very difficult to put a finger on. I
think if I can mention 2 words, and I want to see how many people will say yes.
Please.
Say.
Big boss.
Yes. I totally say no.
That's what I'm saying.
I would not do
You
it.
will say yes? No.
No.
Here, yes means no. What do you mean is no, right?
You're always saying no.
Not
For me,
interested in
I'll
being
answer
lab rat.
depends.
Are you serious?
What's the price?
Depends on how I'm doing, how much money I'm making at the
No,
time.
I mean,
Are you
even
serious?
if you give me too much money, I will. You know,
can't do
I
it.
can't because, you know, there are. It's at the end of the day, it's all edited. You know.
Never say
If
no.
I-
I learned
if I
never say
say,
no.
want to
you
go
know,
out
never say
there
never.
and let
You
them
know,
see you like
in the words of Justin Bieber,
like
You never say no. I mean, definitely
Never
never
say
say no.
never.
But you
Never
know,
say never.
there are things which kind of scare me. Suppose, you know, we are sitting in a big boss, and, you know, I'm talking to Dia, and while everybody and then Shefali starts talking and everybody is looking at her, but I'm still in the thought of what she said. I'm looking at her, and they will make it look like as in falling for her.
It's about controlling the narrative.
Controlling the narrative. So, this is something...
But actually, I mean, I'm just seriously now, I mean, the age that since we are, talking as people who are now in the OTT times of OTT, I mean, today it's much easier to just be able to start your own thing on, on a digital platform and be able to. So, like I said, I mean, again, it's a jokes apart, it's a great time to be an artist.
But you know what I meant? I mean, Bigg Boss is one thing, but what I meant is even as actors, what is are there no-go areas? I mean, I'll give you an example. Pankaj Tripathi told me that he said that I don't judge characters anything, but if it comes to playing a character where the person has to be cruel to children, he said that's just something I don't think I want.
No,
to
I don't think I have any such moral or ethical takes on the work that I do.
I just have this that it has to touch me. It has to really hit me. If it doesn't, no matter how big it is
the
or
script has
whatever,
to reach out to me.
then I'm like, Achha.
That's exactly what
right.
I mean. Like, I want to work with stuff that resonates with me. I am not interested. I don't work for money. I work for love. And if I fall in love with something, I will bend backwards to see it.
Like I remember Zoya's short film for the not the last one, the earlier one, in which I had played the father to the Katrina story.
Bombay Talkies,
So in that I had to play a cruel father. I had to play like the father who doesn't like his child dressing up in
girls' clothes,
girls' sisters' clothing.
Lipstick and right.
But I mean, it's really, guys, believe me, it's so different from me because I am not at all cruel father types, So we had great fun actually because as soon as the camera would cut and I was supposed to slap him, we would break into a dance. Like, how else to be able to play out a scene with a child where you're going to be overtly cruel to him and still not make him feel, the cruelty of that moment. So I mean,
you don't have those,
I know. In fact, I look forward to these challenges at work, which is to.
Shobita, Manoj, I mean,
I always thought that I would never play a guy who's very cruel or say sexual to women.
Yeah.
But
my God, Love Sonia.
Love Sonia. That's I was coming to that.
Oh my God, that scene.
Yeah.
You know which one I'm talking about? In the car.
In the car.
Where you trade a girl for a cigarette.
But I was very disturbed that night. I was snapping out. I
hated you.
Yeah. I hated myself when I was doing that scene, and I always felt that I'm not judgmental to the character that I play. But that character completely blew me off. I mean, it disturbed me when I was doing it. Disturbed me. The director and the producer, they were standing 200 meters away from me completely because I was snapping out. I was snapping out. I didn't want to do that scene. But yes, I mean, that I always, when they came to me, I said no. They came to me thrice. And then Mukesh Chhabra said, Manoj bhai, please kar lo, because they can't think of anybody else. Then I sat with them on all the scenes. Then I asked them, I insisted on taking out one scene, which I felt that it was there just to, make it sensational.
Right.
I say, you can do without it. Then they went back and revisited their own script. They took out that sequence. They thanked me for it. Still, I wanted to say no, because the character that it was. Then one fine evening, it just occurred to me that, Manoj, why are you saying no to it?
Right.
He's not looking at women as as a sexual object, but he's looking at them as his business product.
Correct. Yeah.
So when that occurred to me, the intention of the guy occurred to me, I said yes to it. And then I went full hog, but few of the sequences like that one, it disturbed me completely.
I can see why. It's very disturbing to the viewers. Shobita, anything that you'd say just no to?
On morality grounds, I never judge a character because I feel like people exist like that. I may not know them, but all kinds of people exist, and I might not agree with them, but I have to accept that such is the reality. For me, that call had to do more with the kind of projects I was a part of, because when I was starting out, I really wanted to do films where I had some performance to do, something at all, because I don't have people backing me.
Sure.
So I just wanted to feel secure by doing projects that, you know, that people knew that, okay, fine, she is someone who can be hired to deliver performance. So that was very important. So I was certain that I just didn't want to be reduced to some happy, pretty, dancey thing. That I
Right.
was sure of from the beginning.
And the performance roles are the ones which has some meat to it, right? I mean, the characters themselves are. I mean,
Yeah.
the straight off heroines are never actually the ones that
Yeah,
have.
because that would not make me secure, for
In
sure.
fact, for me, Shefali has, I mean, her choice of work, I mean, I never tell her, obviously, because we've known each other and we are friends, so don't want to sound, but I think now is a good time to say it. Her choice of roles and her work are special. Really.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Just
Big fans.
never repeat that. Never repeat I said that.
Why? Just only I was going to
Just-
say Narendra.
No, but there is one film,
Which one? Which one?
black and white.
Oh yes.
Oh, first it was the most harrowing experience making that film. And after a point, I wanted to run away. I wanted to say,
मैं पैसे देती हूँ मुझे निकाल दो मुझे नहीं करना आप प्लीज रीशूट करो प्लीज
I was like,
and that was the only one. Then I said,
ऐसा-
okay, this
ऐसा
is
मेरे-
not my place. I cannot do what does not instinctively. You know, I thought, okay, with like the lead or whatever, so
Correct.
it's like great.
When
I
that
realized-
happened to you? After when you started shooting, I mean, 2 days after shooting or 5 days
Yeah,
or
when did
10
you start
days?
sort of
when
realize it?
exactly it happened?
I think as soon as I got out of the van,
You were with that.
Sometimes,
Okay,
also, I
ye
think what
to-
happens is sometimes you set yourself up.
Yeah.
You know, for the wrong reasons, you set yourself
and the
up.
thing is, and we then finally, because we are conscientious
Yeah.
people, it's like you don't stall a film.
Yeah.
You don't, so you've got to pull it through. But each day was trauma. And then after a point of time, I gave up. I said, कोई बात नहीं. अभी आपको ये करवाना, okay. ऐसे बोलनी है line.
Had that experience. I'm sure all of you have had that
We've
experience.
all been there.
Yeah, but after that, then I said, अच्छा ये मुझसे नहीं होता है.
You know,
If it doesn't hit and
one
touch
thing,
me,
one film with me that has happened. You know, I went on the set, and as we were shooting the first sequence, and I realized that shit.
Yeah.
My judgment about the director was wrong.
Yeah.
फंस गया. And I
That's
came out of the shot, and I went to my makeup man. I said, "Party करते हैं."
Now let's enjoy this.
I always imagine
When you
this.
can't fight it, lie
I
back
always
and
imagine
enjoy
this
it.
moment to be कि ऐसा शॉट चल रहा है, आपने रियलाइज किया कि ऐसा आप फंस गए हो, एंड उसने बोला ठीक है शॉट लेते हैं, एंड आप बोला एक्शन, और आपने अपना डायलॉग बोला, आपने एग्जिट किया, एग्जिट करके आप गाड़ी में बैठे घर चले. And I have made these mistakes more than once.
and it's not about good and bad.
Right.
I am not in any position to judge कि ये अच्छा है या ये बुरा है.
It's
But
about being
does
able
it hit me instinctively? Yes, this I have to do. You know, and then I realized कि okay, there might be some very commercially viable projects, but if it doesn't touch me, I'm not going to do it.
Shubham, you had
मेरे लिए
this-
ग्रेट
you're
फिल्म क्यों ना
very
हो,
new.
मतलब मेरे लिए ग्रेट फिल्म क्यों ना हो, लेकिन मेरे उस ग्रेट फिल्म में मुझे डायरेक्टर एक्टिंग करके ना दिखाया.
Correct.
मुझे एक्टिंग करके
नहीं मनोज, तुम ठीक नहीं कर पा रहे. देखो you कर.
I'm telling you, that's what I did in Black. I said, okay. ऐसे बोलना है.
I know many directors and many good directors who tend to do that.
Right.
But the only thing that happens I don't think they realize is that in their movies, little bit everybody looks like a director.
That's exactly what comes to me. If you are directing every actor and you're showing
And
them,
only
everybody will be
people
the
who know
same
you will
actor.
realize, like a Zolly moment, well, hold on, this is like same guy is playing 10 parts.
मेरा एक यंग डायरेक्टर, उसको शुरू में ही मैंने उसको कह दिया भाई, बिकॉज वो नरेशन भी देता था एकदम एक्टिंग कर करके. मैं कहा तू एक्टर बनना चाहता है क्या? नहीं सर बनना चाहता था. मैंने कहा अभी से वो जर्नी तेरी खत्म.
See, you put one poor child's heart you broke.
तो जैसे ही वो सीन बताता, सीन के पहले मैं
Acting नहीं कर.
Stop now. You know, there has been some serious talk about censorship on the digital
No.
shows. But
Say
it's
it's
true.
not true.
No, I mean, it is true. The INB minister has said that.
Why do they need this now?
But
With
that's the-
technology,
but
you
that's-
can just lock your child's whatever.
It's not about the child.
It's not about the child.
They're
I mean,
promoting
it's-
other things.
Correct. You know, they've spoken about how the CBFC and the ministry will sit down with the stakeholders and figure out a way to regulate content. I mean, what's your immediate response to that?
I think it's absurd. It should not be done because I think everything that we hold precious and true to the platform will be lost the day we allow this to happen.
I agree.
The other thing is that whatever is perceived as un-Indian.
What is un-Indian?
There's all kinds
And
of
what is stuff
there's
which
all
adults
kinds of-
can't watch?
Very good
Honestly,
questions.
what is stuff that even the kids don't watch today?
नहीं वो ठीक है
Very
मैं
realistically, I'm not saying a 10-year-old, but like 15, 14, 15 years,
तो
I mean, they know more
Yeah.
than we do.
international
honestly,
ratings.
But that's exactly what they want to curb as well, right? I mean, that if they're talking about censoring online
but
content, it
Rajiv-
goes right to YouTube. It doesn't. It's not just.
Yeah, but Rajiv, if there is a, let's assume we put this thing on Indian shows.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about the international shows?
But
It's
even
still going to be
for
out there,
theatre,
or what?
there
Are you
is
going to
a-
stop it? Okay, you can't show this. Fleabag,
Yeah.
for example, for the language and the content of
Yeah.
it. What are you going to do? Not
I was
show it?
I was talking to Ranveer about it. I really feel that the day it happens, the beauty of the platform will be completely lost because, if you take, say, Family Man, it is talking about the
Many, many.
talking about all the sides.
Yeah.
Talking about the arguments from all the sides.
Correct.
I mean, and if you want, if you're looking for an answer, the answer is there
Right.
in the series itself.
Right.
We don't need to defend
Correct.
ourselves.
It's actually deeply
So,
political.
yeah. So if you are talking, there is a situation. I'm giving you an example.
Yeah.
There is a situation where my character wants to get inside the village. He knows that that guy is there.
Right.
The asset is there, and the outside, the army and the police guys are local, local Kashmiris. Okay, the armies and this local police guy, and there is Gulpana's character who is in the army, but she's a Kashmiri. And all of them have their different point of view about this, about a situation.
Right.
So I don't think there was anything anti-India, but
Right.
there was. We have shown this character Shrikant Tiwari surrounded by debates,
Right.
but he's still doing the most patriotic job.
Also, I
You
want to
know?
say something, Rajiv, about this thing. Is that I think governments and especially people who are in power, they should realize that when you set up something like this, you are not always going to be at the controlling end.
Correct.
Tomorrow, somebody else will come and utilize the same laws, same rules.
Right.
So why set up something like this in the first place? Why not? कुछ तो लोगों पे छोड़ो ना यार. I mean, you can't. सब कुछ तुमको ही क्यों decide करना है ना? Leave it to the individual which makes up your, makes up your entire mass of people.
My first thought was 1984 by George Orwell.
Right.
I don't know if you had a chance to read it. I was like, every thought is being monitored,
The control
every
society,
conversation is being heard, and slowly we're all being shepherded into subscribing to a point of view, and anyone who disagrees with it is conditioned steadily. So it's
No, I
scary.
mean, in this case, you can't even say that कि अगर तुमने ये फिल्म देखी तो national security को खतरा है. So you know what I'm saying? ये अगर Fleabag सबने देख लिया तो देश को खतरा है. I mean, really. और even Family Man की अगर 3 fictitious characters ने कश्मीर के ऊपर debate कर लिया तो कश्मीर खतरे में है. I mean, get real. Nobody's going to believe that.
Finally, I want to ask you, for each of you, the success of these shows has really catapulted you to different places in your careers. How much pressure do you feel to strike while the iron is hot and line up the next projects?
I mean, to be honest with you, if I wanted to just do the paycheck kind of career of acting, then I would have, honestly, I would have taken up TV serials also back in the day when I was.
But it's not just paycheck. It's also about, it's finally, I mean,
Visibility.
it's finally, it's also finally I'm getting the kind of roles that,
yes,
that I want.
yeah, that I would. I mean,
and therefore, this may be the best time.
And I am.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, like
if organically those parts are coming to you, then you choose the best of that.
Right.
I don't feel any kind of rush,
Sure.
hurry to, I don't know, prove anything to anyone.
Sure.
Mostly to myself. I feel very excited and inspired by what is happening. But more than anything else, I don't feel threatened or insecure about where this is going because I feel that
Right.
there's ample opportunity for everyone, and work seeks you out.
Right.
You know? And I think when you're aligned with your purpose and what you really want to do, that work comes to you automatically. You don't need to chase it.
Right. That's so reassuring, yeah.
I'm quite excited because I was telling Manoj sir also that the kind of parts that I'm getting on OTT,
Right.
I wouldn't have imagined, dreamt that I would have got in film. So, I mean...
No, but there's such interesting work happening in film also.
Yeah.
True.
It's so exciting.
I feel like people never really had any expectation from me. I was never really put on a pedestal that I had to live up to. So I was free to make choices that meant something to me. And so I have a very simple lifestyle. Like I eat dal chawal and I'm inspired around nature. So because I don't have to work to pay bills and I'm in that space, I have had the freedom to choose work that stimulates me. If I feel, I don't know, attached to a certain sense of adulation, then I don't think I'll be able to take those risks. And I'm not happy when I don't take risks.
With me, everything is wrong. You know, I have been taking risks even after Bandit, Viku Mhatre. So, you know,
Risks are essential.
I mean, after Satya, everyone knows that, you know, I was flooded with offers, you know, and those days people used to get suitcase full of cash.
Really? I've never seen
suitcase full of cash.
Why did you send them
It used to come to my house. You said, "Pehle ye rakh lo."
I've never seen a suitcase full of money.
Yeah. "Pehle ye rakh lo."
Correct.
फिर हम लोग बाद में बात करेंगे.
रोल बाद में बनाएंगे सर.
पहले ये
बनाएंगे आप प्लीज रख लीजिए.
That is why you are our guiding light.
But you know, personally मुझे मजा उसमें आता है कि you know आपका बहुत अच्छा कुछ काम हुआ है and people are talking about it and that time you just you know go quiet.
Correct.
You
Correct.
know, enjoy it
And not be still.
and not be excited about it. And you know, try to look for something really as exciting as this one. Sometimes you fail,
Sure.
you know, sometimes you succeed, but do what you really want to do. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
डॉक्टर ने तो बोला नहीं था एक्टिंग करने के लिए, बहुत अच्छे जॉब थे. मैं यूपीएससी अच्छा खासा पढ़ने में था, मैं यूपीएससी कम्पीट कर सकता था. मैं आईएएस ऑफिसर होता कहीं पे, आईपीएस होता. But if you have come here, so make best use of it. I mean, she's very right that when she says that, you know, she enjoys dal chawal, she enjoys nature, going out. And this is exactly we do too as married couple and as parents of a 8-year-old. We are still that free, very free, you know. And when you keep your needs under control, then you can take risk. And you know, doing Gali Guliya, you think not taking risk.
Yeah.
Doing Aligarh is not taking risk. I mean, it is taking risk. But when we are doing it, we are not thinking about the risk. We are actually excited and passionate about the subject and the character, and that's why you just go ahead and do it.
There's a certain thing, when I was in college, they used to say, "Oh, you broke up with him, now you have to upgrade." So, you know, it's like a college thing, so it's like you can't downgrade. Then you lose the breakup. You have to win the breakup by dating someone cooler. So I feel like,
Nice analogy.
you know,
That's
was
so,
it?
yeah, what was
हमारे समय में सच
I was living under a stone
मेरे तो
somewhere.
चांस ही खत्म थे.
We studied under trees.
मेरा चांस ही खत्म
so
है.
I feel like even with cinema, if there is a pressure to isse better, isse successful, isse bigger paycheck, then I'll become a trade person. Then I'm treating myself like a commodity,
Yeah.
and I will not be honest, and I will not sleep well.
world does constantly work towards making a commodity out of it.
Yeah.
I
Making
think
you
the
feel
biggest
bad.
fight is to constantly remind yourself that no, I'm a thinking,
But that's
feeling person.
so
I'm
true,
not
you know.
a product
Yeah.
or a commodity.
I mean, like
want
the
to
worst
be
thing is, you know,
okay.
I'll have journalists come in. आपको लगता है आपको आपका ड्यू मिला है? What do you say to that now यार? मतलब तू क्या बोल रहा है यार? यहाँ तो कि मैंने काम नहीं किया, यहाँ कि मैंने काम नहीं किया. I don't know. So this is how it starts, you know.
We are so used to capitalizing. If you're good at something, you should be good enough to be able to make money off it.
Right.
This mentality.
Right.
I want to be able to do something because I like it,
yeah.
and it sustains my lifestyle. So I'm
Shefali,
fine.
you've spoken about how this role was hard to come by. I mean, there was a period where you were just frustrated with what was coming. In that scenario, do you feel like there is a pressure? I mean, just the pressure on yourself, not even an external pressure, but the pressure that you put on yourself to continuously find the work that gives you joy. That there is that pressure.
That is true. there is more than a pressure, it's just a hunger which is
Yeah, and it comes to
not
women,
satiated, you know, satiated. It was like, I told you last time that yes, there was a point of time where it bothered me.
Yeah.
Because I love my work. I love that. I'm the happiest when I'm working.
Yeah.
But after a point of time, I realized the kind of work I want to do will come occasionally.
Right.
It's not going to come every day.
Right.
So the choice is whether you want to go to work every day and make the money and just have this thinking, I'm working. Or you say, I'll wait. It's okay, I'll wait.
Right.
Like DC dropped in March, I'm waiting.
Right.
I'll be honest with you, you know, I tried this for the longest time, this I'll wait thing. And it just wasn't working for me. Because the more I was waiting, the more I was being asked to
अभी
wait.
तो OTT पे मिल रहा है ना?
But now
you
it's
have reasons to
changing,
get
you know.
out.
सर मैं वही कह रहा हूँ अभी मैंने इसीलिए it's not just that the parts coming my way are more exciting and that I have more volume of work coming my way. It's also that my willingness to work
Right.
is
And internal switches happen. Yeah.
is because I'm like, you know, what am I trying to keep
Holding
this
out for,
holding out for what?
Right.
I mean, you know.
But
But I
finally
feel
you
it's
have
very
to be
different.
excited and you have to love
Yeah,
what you're
I mean,
doing.
I
man.
keep a very
Ranveer,
simple
it's
thing.
very
If
different
if
for
the
women.
that
It's
of
very
course.
different for women. You
that's
have
true.
to understand that after a certain age, there is a very stereotypical mindset that writing happens with. That's actually the
That is
first
true.
hurdle
That
you
is
have to
true.
cross.
Yeah.
And the second is that there are fewer and fewer parts written for women above the age of 35.
Yes, I agree with you.
And in that realm of things, if you're looking for stimulation
Sure.
and you're looking for intelligent work.
So that's what I meant also when I had
satisfying.
complimented
It's very rare to come
Chef.
across
Is
that.
that is the fact that, you know, she has fought the odds and she has come out on
We
top
have to
repeatedly,
say
you know.
no
So
to a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
to be able to say yes to the right stuff, and that right stuff, all the yeses she said, have created opportunities for others.
yeah. No, but there's no debating the fact that you're right about this. In fact, again now with I think Sant Ki Aankh also there was something about
Whether
yeah, I mean
why you're not casting older actors.
yeah.
But how is, I mean, like,
It's not that
honestly,
important.
it's nobody's, it's the director's prerogative who they want to cast.
Sure.
Yeah?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No, but it is a fair question to ask of our industry that we have very talented women in their 60s who we don't cast. for
But they
the
might
parts
not be
that-
able to, let's be realistic, they will not be able to play 20s,
I'm
na?
saying that's fine.
No, she's
That's
talking about
perfectly
generally.
fine. It's
Not about Sant.
It's not about Sant. It's about we do not give people. There's a lot of ageism in our industry.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
and it's with
It's
women
there in
to
the
hai.
writing.
You have a lot of
especially so for
lot
women.
many isms here.
Absolutely, of course.
You cross
and
one and suddenly you find another one.
The next one.
And I ruined it from start.
Correct. Waqt and yeah.
Hasrate, I played older.
Yeah.
Waqt, I played older. And how older?
Correct.
You
Yeah,
know?
opposite Mr.
So
Bachchan,
everybody
yeah.
said, Acha, ab ise great grandmother ka role denge.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Like,
You can do grandmother, now do great
great.
grandmother.
Matlab, tum.
But it's true. I got told by someone that 5 साल है तेरे पास ये इंडी विंडी करके टाइम वेस्ट मत कर.
क्या
So I'm
करके?
like
Indie, indie.
टाइम वेस्ट मत कर, इससे कुछ नहीं होगा. I was like,
तो मतलब क्या करना चाहिए फिर? Accordingly, अगर नहीं तो मतलब what are you supposed to do? I don't understand.
तेरे पास 5 साल है इंडी विंडी करके टाइम
Yeah. 5 साल है, he's decided. Yeah.
But I think really we as an audience are richer by the choices that you've made. Each of you, really incredible performances. You've made us laugh. You've made us cry. Mostly cry. You've really broken our hearts. But no, but in such beautiful ways. You know, I asked you all whether you all came away having having changed. I can't speak for you, but I know as a viewer, we come away changed. You've really given us a peek into the worlds that you have populated, the worlds that you have created, and we're so grateful for those incredible performances. Looking forward to lots more. Thank you so much for this chat, but for those enduring performances that I think will hold up and will outlive all of us here. So thank you very much, and looking
Thank
forward to
you,
lots more.
Rajiv. Thank you, Rajiv.
What each of you do next. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for creating this beautiful circle
Thank you.
that you have.
Thank you. Thank you.
Half circle.
Half
They completed.
Thank you.